BD Cycles. Today we're going to be going over what's going to be happening with our second build going on this channel, my 1976 Ironhead. So currently this bike has a 1985 Ironhead in it, which has an Evo bottom end. The reason why I'm not going to be running that is I want a kicker, I want old school cool. So over there I have a 1976 motor. That one's going to be going in this bike. That motor looks pretty nice. This one ran good. I have the frame for this sitting upstairs. That one's probably going to get a pretty cool build. I don't know what. Might get divorced, meaning that I cut the trans off. Might be going in a Softail. Who knows? So, we'll start from the front. Right now, this has a 35mm front end. Picked up a 39mm front end for this bike. Because in our testing, these front ends look cool, but they don't ride so great. So our plan is, well, my plan is to switch this over to a 39 with new cups inside of here. Because if you didn't know, these earlier frames had 7/8 bearing cups in them, and you're gonna need 1 inch for a 35. Moving down, I'm gonna run these mag wheels, unless I find a cool set of Invaders or PM 12 spokes. The front's a 19, and the rear is a 16. So I like to run these mags. You don't see a lot of guys running them. I think they look pretty cool. And this bike's kind of going to be like a rowdy, more thrown together out of parts bike. And I'm building most of the stuff so I can figure out what I want to do. So moving up, I got these from a guy who was selling parts on Marketplace. They're a pretty cool set, independent bars, very nice TIG welding with a brace on them. I think they're going to be pretty cool. I think they'll go with the style of the bike. So moving back, we have a peanut tank, which is pretty much all I run on my builds. I don't really care for any other style of tank on these chopped up bikes except maybe a Frisco. I don't like big tanks on my stripped down bobbers. I think that it just doesn't tie together well. So I mounted that right to the backbone. I made these pieces. I'm going to cover in, fill in the big gap here. That just raises it up, matches the angle of the backbone, and looks real good. So for the exhaust, you'll see a picture right here. I'm running a set of long pipes with Martini shaker ends. I got them off of a real old chopper guy, and he's built a lot of different bikes, so I'm honored to have those going on this bike. So if we move down, my plan is to run a high set of Fords. Make a mount off the frame here and run a higher set of Fords, almost like a Frisco style Fords, high and tight. And so then if we move back, this has a Voodoo Vintage hardtail on it that you have to weld up yourself. I did this all with the string line. That was before I got my frame jig. And that's pretty nice. So if you move down from that, now here's my conundrum. There's two different ideas I have for the oil tank. Either a horseshoe style, which is like this. Then I'm going to mount the battery on the inside, my switches over here, so that I have the only thing besides the motor and the frame will be this oil tank. Everything else will be hidden on the inside. And I think that'll come out looking pretty cool. The other idea I have, you'll see a picture of it right here. It looks like a dry sump oil tank for a race car, and I always thought those were cool. Now that I have my plate roller, you can roll up whatever diameter pipe I want and roll cones. So if I roll a cone, 2 cones, and then a cap, I think that would look pretty cool as well. So if you have any input, put it down in the comments. If I don't see it, then I guess you'll get to see what I do. So that's the plan with the oil tank. This is made out of aluminum. I got the kit from Bone King to get a cap and fittings. It's just not worthwhile for me to make those things at this point in time because the kits are pretty cheap, and it's pretty easy for me to just order them. They came in 3 days this time, so I'm very happy with that. So now moving back to the rear fender. So I'll pull this off of here just so you guys can see it. It's very rough right now. So the inspiration that I pulled for this came from the Swedish style speed chops, and I'm not seeing a lot of guys in America doing them, and I really I actually think they're pretty cool. It's almost like a mix between a flat tracker and bobber. So that's my plan. A lot of their stuff that they do, they run high and tight, and then they run real skinny fenders like this, and that aren't matched to the frame, or to the tire, I'm sorry. So I'm just going to set that there for now. In the rear you can see, obviously, I have my mag wheel, 16-inch. I have TC Brothers well-done kickstand. That's par for the course on every build that we do, except for the monoshock, which is just getting a stock one that's getting bent because that's a little different. There's not really a good place to weld one on like this. And so that's the build as it's going now. And then, so my plan is to make my seat come down and tie into that real nice and hide whatever is underneath the seat. And then I'm going to be running an S&S Carbonus. That's my plan at first. I have a Super E sitting over there on the shelf, but I'm really close to thinking about running a Weber or maybe 2 flat slides, running a cool dual carb setup on it, just to be different. For the time being, this is going to be a hand clutch. Maybe down the road, it might become a foot clutch, jockey shift type of deal. Who really knows at this point? I kind of go with the flow. Let what's going to happen, happen. Now, this build might not seem like anything special, but you're going to get to see every process from finishing up the oil tank, finishing up the fender, finishing up the gas tank, switching over to the front end. And I hope that interests you and you want to stick around. And thanks for watching. Have a great day. Please like, comment, and subscribe what you think.